See, Elijah had to help this guy understand. See, what God sets you up for, God sets you up for when he comes through in your life, that person that challenged your faith, when they made plenty sense, and when God comes through, they will say, now that don't make sense. Something ever happened in your life, and somebody looked at it and said, well, that just don't make sense. Okay, let me give you an example. We had an opportunity to try to save a house we built 10 years ago. But we didn't. We walked away and moved into an apartment. Now that don't make sense. What made sense is you do anything and everything you can to remain in the debt you was in that giant hole you was in. That makes sense. So people look at us now and it just don't make no sense. Because God has brought us through many trials in a short period of time, publicly, in a short period of time, and it don't make sense. So listen, in other words, my faith in action should spark some faith in action. See, what God tells married couples, say if you're married to a non-believer, you got to have faith in action. You got to keep walking before them. Because your faith in action is going to soon spark some faith in action. If that brother see you come home every single day and honor God, and he ain't even thinking about God, but you still honor God, you bless him, you are a godly woman. God says eventually that's going to spark some faith in action. You don't see that brother, starting to creep and ask you about, you going to pray again today? I ain't going to do that. I just was trying to see if you was going to pray again. I mean, I was going to sit there next to you while you pray. Amen. So, Elijah helped the man. Elijah said, listen, I'm speaking on behalf of the Lord. My faith heard God say that this blessing is sufficient for the men. That this bread is sufficient for the men. The Bible says that the servant then took the bread, the grain, gave it to the men. They ate, was full, and had some left over. Now, if you've been around the Bible just a little while, you know that sounds familiar. You know that sounds like when Jesus took the fish and the loaves and fed over 5,000 people. I told you when you read the Old Testament, you need to be looking for Jesus. Because Jesus shows up time and time again in the Old Testament. I have seminary professors that will tell you that Jesus is nowhere in the Old Testament. Well, I beg to differ. Because when the poison was in the pot, he grabbed some grain. He grabbed some meal. He grabbed, in other words, the foundation of bread. And when he sprinkled the foundation of bread in the stew, it took away the poison. It took away the sting of death. It took away the power of the poison. Sound like the bread of life to me. Sound like something only Jesus Christ can do. And then it comes down here for the first fruit offering. The bread not only multiplies, but it satisfies. The bread satisfied the hunger of over 100 men in a famine. Sounds like Jesus Christ to me. Sounds like the bread of life who satisfies the hunger of the world. Sounds like Jesus Christ to me. In other words, God is the God of multiplication. Your faith in action sparks faith in action. So in other words, we need to be around here like a log fire. All you need, if you really know how to build a good fire, is one good log that's on fire. And for everything that's in me, I'm trying to be that log that's on fire. So when I brush up against you, you burn it, and I'm moving on. I'm brushing up against you, you burn it, and I'm moving on. So I'm setting the whole row on fire. The whole church is on fire because of the log. So when if anybody else will catch on with me, we'll be around here rubbing on each other, and faith in action will spark faith in action. If I get one witness to just come with me and just begin to rub off on other folks, if I get one witness to come with me to just start rubbing off on other folks, we will see how this thing will work. If I can get 2 or 3 people to come with me and just show how faith in action sparks faith in action. If I can get 2 or 3 more people just to come with me, we'll see how this thing works. We'll see how faith in action really is supposed to look. Faith in action. And before you know it, you got a barn burner going on. Before you know it, you're taking over the whole block. Before you know it, you're erecting buildings, erecting centers. Before you know it, you have taken over a community and blessed them. Before you know it, you're seeing God move in ways you never even expected. Before you know it, that child is coming home and saying, I want to come and be a part of what God is doing over there. Before you know it, God is moving, changing your heart. Changing your heart, faith, and action, even in a family. Even in a family. So Jesus, as the bread of life, is saying to us that he is to be sown in our heart. And then we ought to break bread and share with one another. Amen. And let your faith be coupled with action. Let's not pray for increased faith. Let's pray for increased action. Let's pray for more action today. So bow with me, Father. I thank you for your word today. Thank you, Lord. I thank you for your servant who had enough